All righty. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here on time. We're going to go ahead and kind of get ourselves started, start looking through our slides, watching our videos and things. We are still in our 5 love languages series. So if you've been here the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about ways that we can love on our kids. The first one that we talked about was acts of service, ways that we can show our kids we love them by doing things with them, doing things for them. Last week, we talked about quality time. So those of you that came, you actually had the opportunity to do a little trick-or-treating with your kiddos here, spend a little quality time with them on campus, get to be part of that school community, which was really, really awesome to see. I know a few of you that came out, it was really, really cool to get to see families and kiddos interacting. So we're on part 3 today. We're going to talk about the 3rd love language, which is physical touch, right? So we got our info slides. We got to get through all the behind the scenes stuff real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and skip us over to the next slide here. So today we are hosted, as always, Principal Santos, Vice Principal Rocca, me, I'm a teacher on special assignment. We've got Miss Munoz, who is our school psychologist. We have Miss Precious, who is our office manager. And of course, Miss Amber, who is our teacher librarian. So if your kids are checking out books and they're telling you about the wonderful stories they're reading, that is Miss Amber right here.
Thank you.
Right. So our agenda, as per normal, we're going to sign in. Y'all got refreshments. We'll have our little lecture, we'll do a little activity, and then we'll say goodbye and tell you to have a great weekend. All right, we have our norms and our expectations, right? Be respectful in your language and your attitude towards our speakers, each other, and anybody that may be online. We're gonna limit our cell phone use. If you need to take something, right? We're adults, we know we got things that we need to just step outside, handle your business, no big deal. Limit your side conversations, right? We would absolutely love to have all of you be part of the discussion. There's lots of wonderful thoughts in your head. We'd love to share them. We'd love to hear them. Concerns, complaints, criticisms, you can come let us know, hey, I hated it, right? You can schedule an appointment with the front office if you want to formally let us know you didn't like, right? No big deal. But if you need to meet with us, if you've got something we want to address, we can absolutely handle that. Just make sure you let us know.
Food was good.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Perfect. That works. So our mission statement, we want to create a truly equity-centered environment where every student receives the support and guidance to rise to their greatest potential in their academic and social emotional success. That's a really big long sentence. We can sum it up. We want our kids to be respectful. We want them to have integrity. We want them to be school ready. We want them to be excellent. We hope that we rise. Okay, those are our goals, our missions here as a school. And our vision, we want our students to be empowered with knowledge, strategies, tools, and confidence so that they can excel in any and all academic settings and beyond. Okay? So with that, we can actually get into some of the meat and potatoes of our talk today, right? We're looking at the 5 love languages here in this series. Some of you may have heard of this. It's been out for like 10, 15 years or some odd. It was first published as this book. So Gary Chapman wrote this book, kind of spent some time advising couples, started seeing patterns, put those patterns into a beautiful book, realized there's, really kind of 5 ways that we show love, right? And so that's where we are now. We're expanding that, right? It's not just love between, his original thought was couples, love, right? Romance, but we have different levels of love and we have different loving relationships. Your friends, right? Most of us have at least one friend that we have said, man, I love you, right? Hopefully we love our kids, our families, right? Things like that. And so there's ways that we can show love to all of these different people. And so that's kind of the core and the focus of this series. Now, some of y'all were here last week, so this video will be a bit of a repetition, but as we know, repetition is really, really good. It helps things sink in. So if you've already seen it, right, maybe try quizzing yourself a little bit, see what you remember. And if you haven't seen it yet, This is a quick introduction to what the love languages are. So again, originally it was written for couples. We're kind of focusing in more on children's love languages. How can we show love to our kids? How can we make sure they're feeling loved? All right, so we got a short little video we'll watch here. Awesome. So quick rundown of what our 5 basic love languages are. Today we are going to be diving, no, go to the next slide. Thank you. Today we're going to be diving in a little bit deeper into talking about physical touch. So we've got our fun little blobby guys up here again, kind of showing us a representation of what it can look like when somebody is hoping for some physical touch or is needing that physical touch to feel loved and to feel comforted. And what it kind of looks like when they aren't getting it versus when they are. Okay. easy as holding a hand can make somebody feel a little more connected, make them glow. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It looks a lot like the food pyramid. You know, we kind of figured out when we get good information that pyramid shapes are great ways to teach people about things. But this is actually something that we as educators learn about a lot and talk about a lot when we are in our credential programs and learning how to be good teachers, right? And so basically, these are all of the needs that people have, right? We have physiological needs. We're all eating lunch. We're having some water, right? Our bodies need things. We need to sleep. We need to breathe, right? All that fun stuff. We have safety needs. We need to know that we are safe, right? We need shelter, right? Things like that. We need love and belonging. We need to feel like a part of a community. We need to feel like a part of a family, of a network. We need to feel like we belong somewhere. We have self-esteem needs, right? Confidence, achievement, respect, having other people respect you, respecting others, right? All of these things are actual needs for us. And the very, very tippity top, we talk about self-actualization, which sounds a little hippie, it sounds a little woo-woo, but it really just means that, like, you are able to do all of the cool things that humans get to do. Being creative, problem solving, a lack of prejudice, being able to kind of start checking your own biases and being more open and welcoming to others, right? All of these things are human needs. But what we talk about, especially in education, is we always look down here to start down here, because we say if the kid is hungry, right, he needs food. If he's hungry, he's not sitting in class thinking about math and science. He's sitting in class going, dang, I wish I got breakfast this morning, right? And so we want to make sure that we start meeting all of these lower needs, making sure we're meeting the body needs, the safety needs, the love and community and belonging needs, so that we are able to push our kids to the tippy top. And when they come to school and when they go out into life, they are big thinkers and problem solvers and capable of being part of their community and their society and their workplace and their families, okay? So this is kind of our thinking and how we start thinking about things and planning things for our kiddos. And it's something that you are able to start thinking about as well, right? If kiddo is having a moment, what kind of needs do you have right now? So we talked about that a little bit with acts of service. My example was tying my kiddo's shoes, right? He needs help with that, so how can I help him? Same basic idea here. We can start thinking about what needs are they missing and how we can fill them. So today's need that we are focusing on is our physical touch. Okay, now really quickly, I want you to think about when you were a kid. Think about when you were a kid, right? What was, if anybody wants to share, what was a type of physical touch that you felt comforting? Cuddling with mom. I love that, right? One more time? Tickle fights. Definitely.
In her hand between shoulder and her chin.
Yep.
And let her go until she stops.
There we go, right? But that's a fun one. So cuddling, tickle fights, we can be playful, we can have fun with it. Anybody else got anything they think of? I know for me, I always loved my mom brushing my hair and like braiding my hair for me. That was always really, really comforting, felt very nice, right? So that's where we are thinking today, where we're focused today. Okay, the next video I show you, we're gonna get into the science of it. Okay, I'm not just sitting here saying you should hug your children, it's good for them. We got science behind it. There's actual, just like with acts of service, there are hormonal changes in your body. There are brain changes that happen when you have that hug, that high five, that moment that actually makes you and them feel better. Okay, so we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty science of it just a little bit here. Nope, nope, now you're auto skipping.
Moving to the left.
Click below to subscribe. There we go. So, big thing we'll get into, but in summary, right? Touch is good for your brain. It is good for your body. It's good for your kid's brain and body, including in their development. Okay? So a big thing we're going to look at is the difference between just contact, like physical contact versus actual physical connection, right? There's plenty of ways that we have had to like lay hands on kids for whatever reason, right? You got to buckle them into the car seat. You got to get that seatbelt buckled, right? Of course, we're doing it out of love. I want to keep my kiddo safe in the car because I love them, but also I have to. And also, you know, and so it's not always gentle. You're getting them in the car. You're getting them in, you know, wiping a messy face. If they're sitting there fighting there, right, you might not be like, oh, my sweet little Amy, give me the boogers off your face. Come on, right? Things like that, right? These are all physical contacts. But sometimes you got to make sure that you're being mindful about how we're going about it to make sure that it actually feels like loving connection, okay? They are necessary, though. Let's be real. All these things are necessary, right? We have to buckle seatbelts. We got to get the boogers off the face. We got to make sure we're crossing the street safely. We got to groom them, make sure they're clean, right? We have to do these things. But the big thing to remember is they don't always register in our kiddos' brains as love. You're sitting there wiping their boogers away and the baby might be fighting you. These are my boogers. What are you doing? 3-year-olds get weird, right? So we want to make sure that we're also doing this in a way that our kids can register it as love. At least some of the time. We know they're still learning. Okay. Now, the reason it is super important that we're able to make sure that our kids recognize, like, oh, this pat on my back is love from my parent right now. Why it's so important that they're able to do that is if you don't get enough physical touch, if you don't get enough hugs, if you don't get those things, right? They talked about the touch gap, but people can become touch starved. Right? And we know starvation. We've all been a little hungry before. I'm sure we're not starving right now, right? But if we aren't able to get a hug when we need it, and that goes on long enough, all that cortisol builds up in your brain. All those stress hormones, all those bad vibes start building up. They get trapped, okay? And so if you're touch starved, it can be harder for you to start processing those things out. We're going to take a quick look at that. Okay, this one is a little 4-minute video. It is short. of information on here. You're welcome to read it if you want. I'm not going to read it word by word, but I'll kind of go through it and summarize it real quick. So there are functions to touch, right? And what we mean by that is like, what's your goal in it, right? If you give your kiddo a hug, what's your goal in giving them the hug? So number one, we have what we call functional or guiding touch. Okay, this is going to be, we're walking across the parking lot, you grab kiddo's hand and you're walking, right? We want to keep them safe, of course, because we love them, but this is kind of, we got to get into Target. We don't want to get hit by cars. Like, this is practical purposes. So these are necessary. They're contact, not necessarily connection, okay? So again, holding hands across the street, zipping a jacket, tying a shoe, connecting to our acts of service, right? Then you have a reassuring or a soothing touch. That's your there, buddy, it's okay. That's your give me a hug, I know you're upset. Those kinds of feelings, right? We want to regulate emotions. We want to reduce anxiety, offer that unspoken support. Okay, we can have a playful or an energetic touch. These are going to be your spontaneous ones. These are going to be excitement. This will be your fun stuff. Piggyback rides, fist bumps, high fives, woohoo, all that jazz. Okay, we can have attentive or ritualistic. This is going to be your everyday kinds of routines, right? First 5 years, you're probably helping kiddo brush their teeth, maybe holding on to the toothbrush or holding on to their hand. This is going to be brushing their hair. This is going to be your extra special bedtime routine when you read them the special story and then you both go Finn, Noggin, dude, like it's Finding Nemo, right? Your last one, affectionate substitutes, because I'm sure some of y'all with the older children have started to learn once they get a little bit older, start becoming, teens, they don't really want, don't touch me, don't talk to me, right? And so there are still ways that we can give physical expressions and affections in that way without necessarily, wrapping your big old teenager up in a way that they don't want to be wrapped up. No worries, but right, we can kind of, give them a little hair ruffle or a little, good job, champ, little bump on the arm kind of thing. So those are our main kind of functions, 2 different types of touch. So as you're thinking, right, what's going on with my kiddo? What need do they have right now? Maybe they're excited about something. I'm not going to sit there and be like, there, buddy. When you're excited about something, right? The goal of my physical touch there is different. And so these are some things you can think about as you're going through thinking about our activity. So think about your everyday routines. Okay, one of our little videos I'm sure you saw. Let's see, you got them all, Miss Amber? We got, think about your everyday routines. One of the big things that we saw, 4 hugs a day. Did you get one? You need one? We're starting with 4. You're always welcome to do more, and you are welcome to. So, well, there's your 4. You're done, right? We learned 4 hugs a day is going to create major positive impacts for our kiddos' health, right? And it doesn't have to be a hug. It's just an easy, quick little thing to call the activity. But choose 4 moments every day during your average, maybe school week, right? 4 moments that you could connect with your child using a physical touch. Howdy, welcome. Okay, you can list things you're already doing, right? So we always hug goodbye before school. If you're already doing that, great. I want to applaud you. I want to encourage you to keep that up. And then see about maybe if you're having a hard time thinking of exactly 4 moments, maybe try to think if we can just add just 1 more. Maybe we have a high five after dinner, right? It doesn't have to be a hug specifically, but where can you build in just a little bit of that reinforcement? I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give y'all some time to write. There we go. And for those of you online, you are welcome to kind of think about it and, just start keeping these things in mind. If you want to write it down on some scratch paper, you can do that, or you are welcome to share in the chat as well. We can kind of brainstorm ideas together that way if y'all want to talk. Thank you. I know we've been doing it with the kids and doing the survey with the kids, so I'm like, why don't we start? You're welcome to keep it if you want, or we can take it, your choice. Awesome. No worries. Have a great one. Yeah. Yes. Good. Good. Yeah, please fill out the survey. Let us know how we did, if you like Parent Lab, if we should keep it going, all that wonderful stuff.